Welcome to the Billiard Network's next 9-ball offering. Yes, you see it well. Copenyi versus David Alcaide. Of course, that's why you also click this link. Here we are at the Mezz Bucharest Open 9-ball Championships 2023. You find yourself in the midst of a quarter-final tussle. Well, not even in the midst, at the beginning, the very beginning. Al-Kady to break in this race to 11. For one of these two top players to get themselves amongst the final four. So both players should be pretty hot from match wins. Maybe one of them came through the loser's side and had to battle a little bit longer, but here they are, final 8 of a very prestigious European international tournament. We are playing 9-ball racked on the spot. We are playing without a break box, so anywhere in the north half of the table, in the top quarter of the table you can break from. And my name is Rico, and I'll be guiding you through proceedings here. Al-Kady with a pretty good opening break and a pretty good opening shot. That wasn't easy, even though position was fairly natural. So, almost in perfect line. He's got an angle on the 3, but may have liked to have been totally straight. I think he can hold his cue ball for the pink 4 on the right side. Now the 5 to the 6 needs a little bit of care and attention. What would you do here? I think I would leave it just to the right of straight on the orange 5 and then screw it back to the bottom half of the left side rail. And that works pretty well. Can add pretty much maximum screw back to his cue ball and draw it just to the left of the left side pocket. Nice workable angle to bring his cue ball either 1 or 2 rails out for the 7 ball. And leave himself at least 10-20 degrees angle on the 7 ball to make it a maneuverable cue ball towards the 8 ball. So pretty important in many of these matches, the opening game, the opening 3-4 games, whether you're leading 2-1, it's already a good start, or 3-0 would be the ultimate, of course. But if you're trailing 2-1, 3-0 sometimes, or a lot of times, that's kind of the story of the match you end up dealing with. So David Alcaide with a pretty much perfect start so far. We're playing alternate breaks, I have to tell you. So it's kind of like a tennis match. You try to win your own games where you're breaking and then try to make inroads into the times when the opponent's breaking. We fast forwarded the racking times, as you can see there. So pure pool playing time here on the Billiard Network. Copenyi with his typical, like almost 5 seconds pure focus and kind of just visualizing, getting ready for that opening break feel, if anything. He'll probably hit the 1 ball correctly. It's more about the speed to make an ideal corner ball and the 1 ball in the side. And a very nice shot on the 2 ball. Bit of an angle, but I think can roll it in, hit the short rail, and come back out to about halfway up the left side rail, or halfway down up the left half rail, to make the 3 ball in the same pocket he's shooting the 2 ball in now. Okay, maybe not. Good shot. Now will he shoot the 4 ball in the top left or in the bottom left. Could just roll the 3 in, leave himself a fairly straight 4-ball, but maybe not in its natural pocket. If he wants to shoot the 4 into the same pocket he's shooting the 3 in, he needs to do the work now. So it's kind of like do the work now, get an hopefully easier 4-ball, as he chose to do. Leave 10-20 degree angle on the 5-ball. And now the 6 to the 7 to the 9 become shots where you want less angle, because in making the object ball you're currently shooting, as soon as your white ball leaves the object ball, you've got a shot on the next, so you just want to maneuver your cue ball closer to the next object ball. As I said, both players hot off some wins in this very tournament, so you know it's very different than the opening round in any kind of tournament these players playing. You kind of have to kind of get the feel of the table. Both players will have won at least 7 matches already. 5 races to 9, 6 races to 9, and from the quarterfinals we started playing races to 11, so that's pretty nice. Al-Kady with a legal break, but no shot on the 2. So where do we push out to? Always looking for the most distance first, so cue ball onto that rail it's closest to now. There are very different options you can give him. Let's say if you leave him in the middle of the top short rail, or maybe a ball's width to the left or right, might mean something completely different for what you're offering. So you have to be very good at visualizing a cue ball position and what that may give your opponent. Doesn't want to give him an easy obtainable safety. It's probably not going to leave him a pot. But would love to probably give him a safety where he has to hit the 2-ball on the thin side or almost straight ahead, because that's a harder ball to hit. If you give him a safety where he can hit the cue ball, half ball, 60% of the 2 balls, 40% of the 2-ball and get a result, that's easier to obtain, because around the half ball mark up to about hitting an object ball about 30% or even 70% of it, so at those thicknesses the cue ball kind of reacts over about 30-35 degrees. Ooh. Well, I mean, is he going for this? Ooh. So he's thinking this push out option leaves me with a higher percentage of being the loser out of that exchange than what he's opting for now. So jump, carom 2-9. Ooh. It looks tasty if you can make it. He will clear the hurdle. That 2-ball needs to be hit very particularly and with a certain amount of spin. Here we go. For a 2-1 lead. Yo. Yes, went for the 2-way. What a shot. Yeah, forgot to mention that. I only saw it when he hit it, actually. And it was a 2-way shot, so either the and was going for the bank and the combo, or the carom. Nice one. What an execution. Would rather have made the 9, of course, because then you needn't have the challenge left of running out the rest of these 7, starting with, you know, less than a half ball cut on the 3-ball. The only good thing about this, the cue ball will travel straight across the table for position on the pink. Nice. So Al-Kady looking in good form. Judging from his good breaks, from his first run out, but also from his shot choice in this very game number 3, opting for the very attacking 2-way shot of the 2-ball bank or the 9-ball carom. other notable players that have entered this tournament is Little Ko Ping Chung is also in, Shane Van Boening, Victor Zielinski, Alex Pachelch from Serbia, Konrad Yushishin is in. I mean, a lot of big hitters. So, and this really turning into the most famous international pool tournament in Europe currently. The largest field and a lot of big hitters. And in a beautiful club, the IDM club in Bucharest, Romania, with 40 Brunswick Gold Crown 4s. I can't stop mentioning it because I love it so much. 4 areas with 2 rows of 5 Brunswicks each. It's a beautiful sight to behold. So extension added to this stretch. Alright, so it will be Ko's break, so all on serve really, but with some very faultless play, you have to say. Alright, fast forward that racking, I hope. As always, we'd love to know where you're watching this from. When are you watching this? It might be, this is recorded in 2023, but this may be very well be the year 2093. And where are you watching this from? We'd love to know. Let us know who you'd like to see featured on the Billiard Network, and we'll do our utmost to get that sorted. And yeah, any other questions you may have regarding pool, that is, let us know in the comments below. If you like what you're seeing, press the like button. You can always subscribe as well, and then you will be notified in your YouTube recommendations the next time we come out with a new video. Alright, Copenyi trying to make the wing ball from his left side, that is the green 6, in the pocket nearest to us, as well as the 1 ball in the side. Now with these cut breaks, you know, ever so slight cut on the inside of the 1 ball, so the left side of the 1 ball from where Ko's looking. There is a chance that you can also make the orange 5 here bottom right, and sometimes the blue 2 that's racked at the bottom gets kicked by the 3, I think it is. Not this time, but cleanly made the corner ball and the 1 ball in the side. And the 2 dressed up very nicely indeed. Now what do we have ahead? Some of you may already know this, or some of you may have never described it like this, but basically, rotation pool. If the next ball in the rotation that you have to shoot, if you have a shot on that as soon as you leave the current object ball, kind of like this one, the 3 to the 4, then you'd like to keep 0 to 20 degree angle max, really, most often. But now with the 4 to the 5, they are, you know, as soon as he makes the 4 ball, he has nowhere near position on the 5 ball. So most likely will leave himself an angle of 20 to 40 degrees on the 4 ball to make the 4 ball a doable pot, but still have a maneuverable cue ball. Could also leave himself straight in this instance. I think that's what he did, because the screw back is nicely achievable. But from the 5 to the 7, we'll need an angle about 30 degrees, kind of where his cue ball is now. And then the 7 to the 8, we'll probably like to be straight on the 7, because as soon as he makes this 7 ball or hits the 7 ball with the cue ball, he's got a shot on the 8. Yeah, bump out a little bit. Beautiful. I mean, just look at both Ko brothers. Such a minimal way of hitting the cue ball. Like, they also play with very nice angles, position. That's why they don't really have to pound the cue ball, force angles, etc. But even if they don't have the ideal angle, like this one, where he probably has to bring the cue ball across 2 rails, he might spin it in softly, but I doubt it. Would rather perform a little bit of a fuller stroke. It looks actually like he might be spinning this. Hitting so low. Yeah, nice. Yeah, just such a good touch. Just very well rehearsed techniques, isn't it? Looks like they're playing the same stroke for about every shot. Or same speed. Of course, most players look like they're playing with the same stroke. But it looks like every stroke is the same speed coming through that cue ball. Well, 2-all. And have you noticed anybody making a mistake? Have we noticed positional mistakes? I doubt it. 2-all race to 11 for a place in the semifinals. 1 ball in the side. That works nice, but we are playing with the 3-point rule. Which means to counter players breaking the balls really softly and just pushing the corner ball in and playing position on the 1 ball. The 3-point rule is in effect meaning on the break you have to gather 3 points either by making a ball, every ball you make is 1 point, and every ball that passes the white breaking line in the north quarter of the table is also 1 point. Now David made the 1 ball, that's 1 point, but no other balls past the breaking area. So control passes to the opponent, and the opponent could still give this back to Al-Kady had he been snookered or something, and then Al-Kady could still push out. Copenyi can only play this shot, he cannot push out currently. So that's a whole mouthful to try to explain the 3-point rule. So this cut shot, well, this cue ball is going to travel at least past the midway point of the table, so will either come 2, 3, 4 rails. I don't think he will soft spin this, although Copenyi is a master of soft touch spins, judging cue ball deflection. Yeah. Ooh, crept in. But does that 3 past the 4? And he was just checking if the orange 5 passes the 9. Now the 9 was bumped into that spot. I don't think he has the full pocket past the pink 4, but I think that's what he's going for. Very smooth. So either the 5 ball does pass the 9 ball, or if it doesn't, the 5-9 combination is not easy, but not extremely difficult either. As long as you get fairly straight on it, that is. So what will he do? For either shot he decides to play, he kind of wants to be straight in on the 5 ball, that will do. Although if the 5 passes, he may want to leave his cue ball on the right side rail. We are shortly going to find out. Okay, 5 ball passes since he's looking at the path. Nice topspin cue ball to at least pass further down than the brown 7. And there we are, back in line. Well, not that he was really out of line, but he seems to have solved this rack's conundrums. We can now focus on keeping his cue ball on a leash. So Copenyi, winner of this tournament last year, so defending champion. Wouldn't that be something if you can defend the title? Not easy in a field like this. Copenyi playing with Zen custom cues, same as his little brother. Not many or any other player that I know plays with that cue. Although his price range is pretty much, I think, around. Well, I think what I've heard is at least like $30,000 or something. So maybe no wonder that not many people playing with that cue. Alright, so have we seen any safeties? Have we seen a kick shot? Haven't even seen a push out when we thought we might. 3-2 Copenyi, Al-Kady to break. Oh no, ooh, of course Co broke Al-Kady's break because Al-Kady didn't comply with the 3-point rule. Co very cleanly been making the orange 5 near us and the 1 ball in the side. So let's assume those two go, or at least the orange 5. Let's have a look at the green 6, blue 2. It's quite interesting how the orange and green directly go to this corner pocket. See, and the 2 ball gets kicked in. Interesting, isn't it? Does he have a shot on the 3? So the 2 ball always racked lowest in the rack. So that's pretty random where that goes, albeit it can get kicked in to the corner pocket he's trying to make the wing ball in, as happened there. Yeah, so I think he wants to load his cue ball up with right spin. After hitting the 3, will pretty much travel straight into this short rail, but then it would travel naturally towards the 9. Oh, he's going to go bottom left. Oh. Oh, I'm so surprised they're not attacking. As you can see, disappointment from Co. Don't think he found full cover. And this is where Al-Kady is... well, what can I say? He's extremely strong in the tactical area, so safeties, push out, kicks. Has a very good feel for choosing the highest percentage safety, the highest percentage hit on the object ball you're either trying to kick or playing safe off of. Doesn't mean he always gets the snooker. Sometimes he plays it containing safe or kick just to stay alive. But yeah, very well respected in the tactical area. Now, of course, impossible for us to see if he can even see the 3 ball, but judging from this little maneuver here, looks like he may have to kick it with a lot of right spin. Even so, I don't think he can hit the... Because if he wants to play the kick and stick, let's say, so hit the top short rail with a lot of right spin, then the 4 ball is in the way of the 3 ball coming towards us. You may want to hit it thicker or a lot thinner. Okay. And that is kind of by design, even though you may think, what a lucky roll, but he really wanted to hit it that far on the right side of the 3 ball. But here comes Co. Pretty well known for his excellent jumping skills. Position pretty much guaranteed if he makes this ball. So kind of wants to play a stop shot on the 3 ball. So all focus on, of course, clearing the hurdle, but he trusts he's going to do that to make the ball. Pretty important rack this. Either Co wins his own breaking game or Al-Kady gets back into things by leveling up. Whew. Beautiful. Two things he can do here, or he'll probably discuss coming 2 rails and out to play the 6 in the side. Or you just roll the 4-ball a bit softer with right spin, hit the top rail, the right rail, and then play the 6 in this bottom corner pocket closest to us. And that's an in-betweener. Well, not directly in between. He's still got the shot. But a little of... he's going to travel his cue ball the long way around. So that's the 3-rail path is a certainty. Players just have to decide if they want to come long or short with the cue ball, because of course the top right corner pocket can otherwise be in the way. So he came short. Alright, back in line to consolidate, taking Al-Kady's breaking game away from him in the previous game, now winning his own rack after a pretty good kick shot by Al-Kady, but a beautiful jump shot made Ko own this rack, not to give it away anymore. So 4-2 Copenyi. Defending champion, remember, so last year was here and won it in a quite beautiful way. Alright, Al-Kady cannot afford to go 5-2 down and then have Copenyi breaking the balls himself in the next rack. Must win this, really. So the 3-ball resting on the turtle rack. So Al-Kady just asking if he can just pick the 3-ball up. In my opinion, looks a little bit amateur, like, you know, but it makes no difference in this case. And that's the one thing of the template racks I don't really like to see, really. Same as cue ball or an object ball rolling softly over it and then kind of rolling back on itself because of the template. Such a weird thing to see, really. But hey, let's move on, Rico, to the current situation. Can he cut the 2-ball in the side pocket? If he can, then I believe there's a 2-rail pattern hitting the left long rail, short rail, and then come in between the 8-9 for position on the 3. Can also cut the 2-ball, well, let's say bottom left, and then bring his cue ball over maybe where it is now. That's maybe the natural path. I'd rather cut these in the side if possible. But then the cue ball first doesn't have position on the 3, and you kind of need to create it. If he were to shoot the 2-ball bottom left corner pocket, then as soon as he, well, kind of the whole path of the cue ball gives him a shot on the 3-ball. I think he's cutting into the side. And that will do. I think he knew it was kind of hard to determine where the cue ball was going to come exactly. Also really dependent on where you made the 2-ball in the pocket. Made a big difference for his cue ball direction. But I think, 8 out of 10 times in making this 2-ball, whether you hit the 9-ball or not, he would have got a shot on the 3-ball. So it's not like this is a lucky roll either, or a random roll. So natural position, back to the left side pocket for position on the 4. Maybe a bit of check side. Wow, what a match so far. Great breaks, no miss hits, no cue ball scratches. Jump shots, good kick shots. No missed pot. Have we seen a missed pot yet? It's already game 7, remember? And these are smaller than your average pockets. I think they're about 4.2 inches. fairly new cloth, so the jaws are fairly friendly, let's say. So punching this cue ball into the top right corner, about 3 clock tip position inside circle of the cue ball. A bit straighter than he would have imagined or visualized before, but probably top right on his cue ball. Or looks like he's playing with top left to shoot the 9 bottom left corner pocket. Never mind that. Never mind my prognosis. Here we go. Important game for David to win. Still, Copenyi to break though, so still needs to make inroads on one of Copenyi's breaking games. So with, especially Copenyi, it depends a little bit how you break, but a lot of players going for the corner ball more than the one ball, I think. So you can kind of count on the fact that the one ball will end up in the north half of the table. But if you make the one ball as well with the 2 ball racked low in the rack, it's very random. So Co's been making and the corner ball and the one ball each time. So ideally on this cut break, you want to hit the one ball just to the left of straight, which means the cue ball kind of comes to the right, this right long rail, straight into the rail. So there, yes. And with that little bit of left spin, spins back to the center of table. That's an ideal break. And lovely to make 3 balls on the break as well. A lot less traffic now. Yeah, Copenyi not really used to having an object laying on the side of the table. European players long been used to template racks and having to move that and either lay it on the side of the table or hang it on the lights. Still, I'm used to it, but it's not ideal for me, I think, personally. Let me know your thoughts on the template racks and what you think is the best breaking format for 9-ball anyway. Wow, and besides that illegal break from Al-Kady, neither player has made a single mistake. Trying to recall. Not even a positional mistake, really. Nothing to write home about, anyway. And this still pretty much ideal for Copenyi. Trying to keep that 2-game lead alive. Race to 11 this. We started the tournament with 256 players. Races to 9. And then ended up with 16 players left on the winner's side, and 16 players on the one-loss side. And they were randomly drawn against each other. And since then, both players have won 2 matches in the single elimination format, ending up right here in the quarterfinal. Al-Kady with a very controlled cue ball. Really hit that minimally, didn't he? co-hitting the balls a little bit harder. But yeah, no matter how good you break, if you also make the one ball, hard to imagine constantly where the blue 2 is going to go to play position on it anyway. So therefore, like all other pool games, or 8 ball, 10 ball anyway, always try to keep your cue ball in the center of the table after the break to give you as many options as possible. Pretty natural position here, I think. High cue ball, making it roll off the short rail just to the right of the 9 ball. Needs a specific angle on the 4 ball to get to the 5. That's his main workstation, really. So either straight on the 4 or a bit of an angle, a right-sided angle. Doesn't want to be left-sided on the 4 ball, because then it's going to be hard to avoid hitting the green 6 while making the 4. Could still be alright even if that happens, but... Alright, so... a few options here. Can screw his cue ball back as straight as he can towards kind of like the exact center of table. Don't think he wants to stun it around the 8 ball, so stun his cue ball to the left of where the pink is with left spin, because then he might end up with too much angle in the 5 ball. Could stun it with almost a straight cue ball and come to the right of the 8 off the rail. Yeah. So kind of just accepting a little bit of a longer shot on the 5 ball with a better angle and easier to achieve off that 4 ball. Can handle most angles on this 6 ball when he gets there, but preferably kind of where his cue ball is now, in that line, about 10-20 degrees. Yeah, so now he'll only use the top rail. Maybe a tiny bit of left spin, so about 11 o'clock tip position. So the highest of quality 9 ball here from both players. I mean, it's not like Al-Kady hit that illegal break badly. Sometimes you can hit it very hard and make only 1 ball, or make 1 ball only, and no 2 balls past the breaking line. Can happen. So Copenyi better keep this up, because Al-Kady is hot on his heels. So consistent, isn't it? Corner ball, 1 ball, but that 2 ball doesn't pass the 9. Could cut the 2 ball in the pocket nearest to us, but then the cue ball would crash into the 9 and you wouldn't know what was going to happen. What can he do? Bank the 2, back up table, cue ball behind the 3. I don't think he has that angle. Bank the 2 ball, so hit about a half ball on the right, bank it just behind the 7, cue ball behind the 9-3. That's maybe a higher percentage shot. What else? Either way, nothing really easy. Is he actually contemplating going for the 2 and the 9, or at least for the 2? Yeah, that's the first thing I said. His cue ball is going to crash into the 9, but that of course will also stop his cue ball and leave it somewhere near the 3 ball. Position though, hard to imagine how that's going to end up. So all focus on the 2 ball nearest us. Wow. 6-4 Copenyi. I mean, perfect play so far. I think this is a timeout situation. Still fast forwarding it. Isn't that lovely? Interesting as well, the Al-Kady, of course, breaking from the other side, as Ko is. Although that used to be more influential when we weren't racking with templates. With the template, you know, the balls are racked, you know, are touching on all sides. And so it should make no difference. So, ended up with a shot on the 2-ball, but does he have an angle to either come down for the 3-9, or can he follow his cue ball towards us for the 3-5 combo? I think that may be what he might do. Could also play the 3-9 carom. Yes, too bad. We're kind of guessing the angle he has. Well, or does he have any angle on the 2-ball or not? I think he may not, because he's been looking for a long time at maybe the 3-9 carom and where he needs to leave his cue ball to be ideal on that. A nice shot you can play is kind of like a masse. So raise your cue stick about at least 45 degrees, hit the cue ball at 3 o'clock, but hit it forward to make the 2-ball, and then make the cue ball turn right or left from where we're looking. Left, right from where Al-Kady is looking. He's just gonna roll it in softly, I think. Yeah. And the 5-ball makes it a pretty big target. Yeah, cutting the 3 into the 5. I mean, if he goes for the carom 3-9, then he cannot also go for the 5-ball, because he has to hit the 5-ball, the 3-ball too thick, or very thick, to make the 3-9 carom. I think that's what he's going for. Might bank the 3-2 rail safe behind the 6-8 at least. Wow, these players are seeing things pretty clearly here. 6-5 the lead for Copenyi. Race to 11. Neither player, well, Al-Kady, I guess, unfortunately giving an inch because of that illegal break. Ko, amazing, 2 balls on the break, fully controlled cue ball, giving himself, you know, as you could see, he would have a shot on the 7, the 9, the 6, the 5, and the 2-ball. By leaving his cue ball in the center of table, so beautifully broken there. Needs to apply a lot of check sides or right spin to this cue ball. And kind of roll it in softly, you imagine, to keep position on the 3-ball. This might be the biggest challenge of the rack. Delicately done, and there we are, an ideal or pretty much ideal line. Yes, okay, I guess not ideal line, because it needs an angle on the orange 5 to get a slight angle on the orange 5 to get to the 6. It doesn't want to just roll the 3-ball in and shoot the long 5 with a bit of screw back. Could do. Might have to, but what he's thinking of is screwing the cue ball straight back towards his bridge hand off the rail, and then keep about a 45-degree angle on the 5. That is pretty much ideal. Well, it's a nice, if you want to learn how to play rotation 9-ball, this is about it, really. Especially with that break format. This is how you do it. But still, besides the the fairly open layouts and the good breaks, just to keep the focus, not to thump this 7 into the rail or hit your cue ball too hard all of a sudden. It's just a beautiful display of constant focus, constant positional play, constant breaking, or consistent is the word, I guess. So Copenyi keeping that 2-game lead alive only because Al-Kady broke illegally in game, was it 4 or 5? Right, so Al-Kady is making the corner ball, but I don't think he's desperate to make the 1 ball. Focusing more on the corner ball and kind of playing position on the 1. But here though, making the 1 is going to make his cue ball roll into the pink. And that's not going to give him a shot on the 2 yet. What can he do? He can bank the 1 and screw the cue ball back. That would give him a shot. I think the 1 ball passes into at least 2/3 of the pocket past the green 6. But needs to add a lot of bottom left spin to screw it past. Screw it to the left of the side pocket. And then preferably also have some left spin left to either shoot the 2 in the right side pocket or the 2 top right. Whew. Alright. Yeah, it looks like he's gearing up to shoot the 1 ball past the 6. But here as well, Al-Kady can just impart so much feel on that cue ball. Could also play the 2 ball in the same pocket he's shooting the 1 in. And he doesn't have to kill his cue ball that much at the speed of it. Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, either way, it's a bit in between positions on each corner pocket. Yeah, and shooting the 2 ball top left, he at least will have position on the 3, can hold position on the 3. If he shoots the 2 ball in the top right, he will have and stun his cue ball to the left of the brown 7 into the rail and back out, then for a lot of revolutions he won't have a shot. Is he going to play safe? No way. Oh, yes way. Yes. Fairly surprising. I guess he was counting on the fact that he was going to hook him so tightly behind the 7 that this rail that Ko is pointing at was not a route of escape. Still needs to add a lot of left spin, because naturally he doesn't have that angle. So I would like to hit, coming off this right rail, would like to hit the 2 ball just to the left of straight ahead on the 2. Send the 2 ball back up table, cue ball perhaps behind the 6. I've seen it happen. Or I've done it before and I've seen it happen to me. So first, of course, hit the ball, hit a rail, and get away with it. Priority in this case. Hard to get a snooker. Ooh, first error. And we are in game 13. Amazing. Right, so this is the chance. Oh no, still only the chance for Al-Kady to win his own breaking game. But at least this ball in hand chance to run out and keep the heat on Ko. A lot of players would have faltered with Ko playing, besides this foul, playing perfect so far. Yeah, Fairly rare case of wanting to keep straight in position on the 3, maybe to screw it all the way back to where his cue ball is now for position on the 4 in the side. Alternatively, can leave himself about 20-degree angle on the 3, but then has to come around the 9-7. I think that's not what he's going for, so first option. I always then have a look at how far do I have to screw my cue ball back at least, which is kind of where it is now, you know, side pocket height. And where's the maximum I can screw it back to, which is basically the top short rail. So anywhere in between the side pocket and corner pocket on the right side rail will do. So probably 3 rails out back to the center of table to give himself a 10-20 degree angle on the 5 ball. Making the 5 gives him a shot on the 6, so would like to have minimal angle here. Yeah, I can screw his cue ball back to the center. Alright, so that decision to not play the attacking shot, but to go for the safety, paying dividends for Al-Kady here. Got the ball in hand and running out so far. Bit too little angle on the 6 ball. We'll have to play his cue ball probably with either 1 o'clock topspin, come off the top rail and guide his cue ball towards the 7, closer and closer. Race to 11, remember. Was a race to 9 in the beginning of this tournament. The race has increased from the last 16 players onwards. Quarterfinal stage. I love these matches, really. The quarterfinal rounds, semi-final rounds often offer up the best quality matches where players are confident from previous wins or have battled through tense matches, tight matches, and also still have kind of like a quest to get to that all-important final opportunity. Right, seems like a replay of Ko's break, really. If you could put them all together, of course the balls end up in different positions. But that corner ball and 1 ball so consistently going in without obstruction. Now here, straight in position on the 3 ball, so draw it back to about side pocket height, right side pocket height. Could also handle this cue ball being where it is now on the 3 to come off the 9 to play position on the pink 4. Slightly awkward bridging around the 8. And that's too much angle. Well, hard to see exactly, but might still be able to roll it in and leave that 10-20 degree angle on the 4 ball, which is acceptable, I guess. Would rather be straight. Well, or actually, that angle will also give him a better shot on the 5 ball. Because now he probably won't stun the cue ball out to the right side of the 7 ball. Or will he? Looks like he is with that tip position. Wow, nice. Again, looking and putting up some good quality shots in this rack to regain that 2-game lead. So only errors in this match, and that's out of a lot of shots played. The illegal break by David Alcaide and the well, the positional error from Al-Kady, with which made him play safe, or decide to play safe. Could have attacked. And then the kicking error from Copenyi. And that's it. I mean, has Ko had 7 breaks or 8 break-and runs? Well, 7, and then that one game that he won off of Al-Kady's break. I think so. Anyway, beautiful quality match here on the Billiard Network. Have a look, sift through our library of matches, where you'll find a lot of the world's best rotation players. We have 8-ball matches as well, if you like that game. I love a bit of 8-ball. And yeah, lots more matches to come as well. Right. Al-Kady with the same task. Win the game he breaks. To keep connected to Ko. Don't lose this game and go 9-6 down. So let's look at if he's trying to only make the brown 7 bottom left and not make the 1 ball, probably, because the 1 ball will travel off the right rail. Okay, made the 1 ball only. Never mind my attention, or call for attention. Beautiful. Good cue ball control, giving himself a shot on almost all balls on the table, with the 2 ball currently being the easiest out of all of them. So leave himself a half ball, 3 ball, I think. Depending where he wants to play the 4 ball, in which side pocket. Yeah, probably doesn't want to follow his cue ball through now, leave himself a half ball, 3 ball, and then have to weave his cue ball off this short rail in between the 6-9. You don't want to hit the 6 and somehow be hampered or hooked or something. Can avoid that by either playing the stop shot. Yeah, so now he can, I think, well, a few things he can do. Can also, if he wants to play the pink 4 in the left side pocket, he needs to load up his cue ball with about 11 o'clock tip position. And he went exactly the other way. Bit more angle than he wanted on the 4 ball. We'll probably have to travel north and south again for position on the 5 ball. I mean, you could maybe roll the 4 in slowly and accept a bit of a negative angle and a bit longer shot on the 5. I think you might come back to where the 4 ball is now, thereabouts. Pretty nifty, eh? You can probably stop his cue ball where the 5 ball is, or draw it back 1 or 2 balls width. So yeah, what angle would you like to have to get from the 7 to the 8? Is what he's thinking of now. I don't know if he wants to play the 8 ball on the left side. I mean, can handle various angles, but these players are very meticulous and very precise. Because if you're not, then you end up paying for it later. Yeah, we'll probably spin his cue ball around the 8 ball and come back to the center of table for either a straight shot on the 8. It's going to be hard to leave a right-sided angle coming off that left rail. Ooh, look at Al-Kady. Turning away as soon as he hit that cue ball, knew it was too soft. Or maybe he hit the 7 ball too thick into the pocket. That would have obstructed his cue ball that much. So, this shot, what are the options? Depending Really hard to see exactly what angle he has. Playing it with bottom left, the best he can do is come back to the center of table or the halfway point towards the right side pocket. Can cut this 8-ball in top left as he's looking now, but then has to play his cue ball with top left spin as well and spin around 3 rails. Can also play the 8-ball bottom right and then load his cue ball up with bottom right as well and stun it 3 rails towards this, or spin it 3 rails toward the right side pocket. Alright, it's going for the 4 rails smooth option rather than the violent other 2 options I gave you. Ooh! Ooh, that wobbled. But good enough. Pocket says, okay then. So important. 6-9 down, or still trailing only by 1. Keeping the heat on Ko. What a match. Copenyi to break next though, and he's improving to be able to play copycat breaks. 8-ball bottom right, 1-ball side pocket. Okay, 8-ball got kicked away by another ball that really wanted to go into that corner pocket. Has he got the 3-8 combo? There's the 4 in the way. Play the jump 3-8 combo. So he's just looking at how much of the 3-ball he can see. To make the 3-8, he needs to hit about a quarter of the right side of that 3-ball. If that's possible, then the 3-ball might travel towards that nearest diamond near the 8-ball there, so towards the bottom rail, and so needs to keep a check on his cue ball to keep position on the 3. You'd love to play any shot with center line cue ball, whether that's high, center or low, that's okay, but playing with, let's say, left spin to check it off the long left rail is going to make the combination even harder. So is he opting for the jump combo? Is he back to the chair getting his jump cue? Yeah, I think so. Wow. Most important shot of this match, of course, it being the current one, but so much riding on this. Will Al-Kady get a chance because Copenyi misses this 3-8, or makes the 3-8 and snookers himself? Or will Copenyi make a wonderful jump 3-8 combo and keep position on the 3-ball? Right, here we go. First lining up the combination and then elevating the cue in the same line. Ooh, miss. The first miss by Copenyi, or first miss by any of these 2 wonderful players, gives Al-Kady the chance to finally make inroads on Copenyi's break. So looking at the angle he wants on the 4-ball, the 5 can still be played top left or top right. Just leave himself like 10-20 degree angle on the 4 will do. Bit of screw back. So now a half ball hit will make his cue ball react about 35 degrees of the line between the cue ball and the ghost ball, or the contact point on the 4-ball. Coming off the lower half of the right rail will automatically give him a shot on the 5, but he decided to cross over. Good tempo, beautiful. Yes, finally. Al-Kady must be thinking, what do I have to do to win this Copenyi breaking game? Well, this is it. I mean, Copenyi could have pushed out, I guess. Yeah, it was a tough task. Jump 3-8 combo. The combo was fairly straight ahead. Did hit it too thick though. Tough action, but I think he made the right choice to go for it, especially the way he's seen himself play so far. And could have also missed and got away with it, remember. So Al-Kady just looking for the ideal line on the 8. Of course can stop his cue ball and will have a shot on the 8, but so often, you know, rolling it back 1 or 2 balls. So he's just checking again, making sure. He would love to have a dead straight 8 ball or a slightly left-sided angle to just stun his 8 ball in and not have to use any rails. He left himself a bit more angle. Yep. That smooth cue ball control by David Alcaide brings him finally to an even ball game again. And he's breaking. Very important. So should it end up hill, he will be the one breaking. Ooh! Had a shot on the 2 and at the last instant dropped. Huh. I think he can see the 3 ball in between the 7-8. Don't know what side he can see of it. Won't play the 3-5 combo or carom. Would love to be able to play safe off the 3 ball right now and not have to push out and give. You know, you have to offer Copenyi something that you will be able to shoot. Of course, then Copenyi will be able to shoot it as well. That's the thing with the push out, you have to offer something. So he's looking at total top left corner pocket. Maybe a little thin cut on the 3, but I think he quickly decided against that. So this, where his Q-tip is now, and can either play the carom 3-5, but in doing so the 3 would bank up to the other side of the table and cue ball might stick near the left corner pocket behind the 6-8. He's looking, what if he leaves his cue ball there? Then he could leave maybe a split the balls kind of containing safety. Alright. I don't think he will have left him more than 30% of it. If he left him half ball, that would almost be, you know, too easy of a reply. Hitting the 3 ball half ball on our left, sending it to the right rail, the cue ball potentially behind the 6 or behind the 8. If you left him less than that, he may very well get it back. Copenyi, quite a bit of deliberation time, fair enough as well. 8-all, race to 11, quarterfinal. Important stages. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's 0-0 or, you know, it's the game situation you should be looking at. What are you given? What are the options? What's the kind of, what percentages can you imagine of success? And he can still give it back, and so he does. So Al-Kady will have something in mind. It's not like he pushes out and comes to the table now and now still has to think of what he's going to do. I'm surprised if he's able to hit it half ball on the left side. I mean, could still play the carom. Maybe. I don't know if he can. If he can hit 30-40% of the, from where he's looking, of the right side of the red ball, add a lot of bottom right spin to his cue ball, might be able to thump the cue ball off the 3 into the 5. Potentially bank the 3 ball 4 rails around back to this side of the table. I mean, it's... I don't even know how much you can see of the 3 ball. Alright, here we go. Okay, maybe not yet. You know, of course, yeah, it's a fairly big ball to hit. You know, you can hit the bottom rail with that right spin that his cue ball will have. Will spin favorably towards the 5. Can hit the 5 ball directly. So he's got about 2 balls width at least to try and hit. Ooh, hit the 8 ball on the way. I'm trying to decipher what that was all about. I guess he could hit too little of it to make that carom, and by hitting the cue ball with bottom right, the cue ball deflected to the left more than he thought it was going to. Okay, so Copenyi with a chance to re-break David Alcaide's break. Lovely to be able to start with ball in hand. Wow. So yeah. Tactical victory for Copenyi. You don't often say that against David Alcaide, but he's thinking about it quite long. When he's looking more at how he can get from the 5 to play the 6 in the same pocket as the 5 ball. So what angle does he want on the 5 ball, which will determine the angle he needs on the 4 ball, which in turn determines the angle he will put his 3 ball in the hand on. So yeah, so wants to have about 10-20 degree angle on the 4 ball. Can do that by laying it on the right rail or spinning out. Either way, of course, in making the 4 ball, he will have a shot on the 5. But I think he doesn't think where the 4 ball is an ideal position for the 5. Because then his cue ball, by hitting the 5 ball, half ball might spin dead off the bottom rail. So he wants to have more angle on the 5 to be able to hit it a bit thinner with left spin, I imagine. Spin it right towards where his Q-tip was pointing. So now it's about 1/3 of a ball hit rather than half ball with left spin. And that will work. Beautiful. Of course, needs to get his cue ball just south of the right side pocket for a shot on the 8 in the same pocket as where he's shooting the 6 now. So to do that, wants to have about 20-40 degree angle either side of that 7 ball. More often than not, if you can have a right-sided angle 40 degrees, there's also an option to have it left-sided, but this is straighter than he imagined. Okay, can still, I think, roll this in with a lot of left spin. His cue ball will travel straight towards the long side rail. And then the spin will take over and make his cue ball spin just to the left of the right side pocket. Come on, cue ball. A bit light on speed. Good direction, light on speed. And I think you can roll this in and avoid hitting the 9. So that'll be alright. Yeah, still has to kind of... He's not so sure. Yeah, see now looking at the low tip position. I mean, that's risky to make the 8 and draw your cue ball into the 9, but I think he's feeling like he's definitely going to shave the 9 ball. So that slight positional error on the 6 meant less of an angle on the 7 than he wanted. Meant more of an angle on the 8 that he wanted. You know, sometimes it compounds, each ball compounds positional error to the next. And this should be doable. Thin cut, but at least cut it as thin as you can. Can't really overcut this ball. Right, 9-8 co and breaking. So just after Al-Kady took back his breaking game loss, he lost his own break. Three balls on the break. 3 ball, where are you? And that's a shot on the 3 ball. We'll probably need to hold his cue ball there. Of course, can't add any backspin to the cue ball with the cue ball being on the rail. I think naturally it might come off that long rail, long side rail, and roll potentially behind the 8. So to avoid that, wants to basically roll it pocket speed, just make it drop, and that'll work. The further the better, because now he still needs to add a bit of left spin to make his cue ball check to the left off that top rail towards the green 6. Naturally, it would come off the top rail and spin or roll towards the 8. Always playing this with bottom right, coming out of the right corner. Yeah. More regular, natural shot to play for pool players. Alright, back in line. What a match so far we have. Ladies and gentlemen, we already appreciate your viewership, and I hope you're enjoying this one as much as I am, really. Such an important stage of this tournament. 256 players. Quarterfinal. Single elimination stage. Race to 11. I'm sure both players will have relished this opportunity and playing against such renowned opposition. So Copenyi about to double his lead. 10-8 in a race to 11. Al-Kady to break though. But of course, even if Al-Kady breaks and runs, it will be Copenyi with a chance to break and run for the match. The score says 8-0 Al-Kady. That is not correct. So 10-8, yes. Maybe we ran out of ones on the scoreboard side where Co is breaking. Alright, thin cut on the 2. Needs specific cue ball direction to guide his cue ball for position on the 3. Naturally, it looks like it's going to come off the top rail into the orange 5. Whew. I mean, you don't really want to cut this 2 ball in with extreme right spin to try to play position for the 3 in the bottom left. Alternatively, if you come off the top rail and come past the left side of the orange, and your cue ball is kind of going to go towards the 6, isn't it? Yeah, he's looking at that route. Don't know if he can make the 2-ball and hit it thick enough to spin it with bottom left, top rail, and hit the left long rail just north of the 8-ball, and then spin towards us. Whew. Right, so just visualizing the potting angle and the line. He needs to make the 2-ball roll over, tuck his shirt in. We're playing all ball fouls, and here we go. Go cue ball. Yeah, and that was kind of course it was too soft, but it was also, he wanted to hit it fairly soft. That first direction of his cue ball after the 2-ball needed to be take as much draw as possible to make that figure possible. If he would have pounded that 2-ball, his cue ball would have never been able to make that 2-rail route. Of course, he still hit it 2-3 balls lengths too light. He's got a shot. Probably the 1 o'clock tip position, cut the 2 in, or cut the 3 in and make the cue ball travel up and down the table. So a few more positional errors in the latter games, in the nitty-gritty phase of this all-important quarterfinal match for these two world-class players. Ooh, well too thick. Never threatened the pocket. I don't think he wants to cut this in. Can bank the 3 towards the orange 5. Cue ball behind the 7. That looks like it may be possible. Goes down fairly quickly, and he wouldn't have been if this was a potting opportunity. That would have deserved a bit more focus and looking at the 3-ball path to the pocket. So I think the bank towards the 5, getting a snooker behind the brown 7. Of course, he would leave a jump shot most likely. Huh. Yeah, see, I always want to play that bank with a bit of check side, but then off that second rail, the cue ball kind of bounced out more than he wanted to, which just gave up enough of the 3-ball for Al-Kady to... Is he able to hit it full ball? Well, he can at least hit it on the right side. And maybe spin the cue ball back towards the 7-ball where it is now. You know, the 8-ball, the 6-ball, the 7-ball can all form a blocking wall. One or all of them. There we go. Looks pretty good. Very good speed. Very good cue ball line. So it's 10-8 for Ko. Remember, not 8-0 for Al-Kady. So can come off straight off the top rail with a lot of left spin, but then won't be able to create much distance between the cue ball and the 3-ball. So it's probably looking at a 2-3 rail option here. So hitting the cue ball into the right side rail, about 1 diamond past the right side pocket. Almost with a center cue ball, maybe a bit of left spin to make the cue ball run favorably. If you hit it with center ball, then it kind of comes off straighter than you think it will. And he can come off the top rail as a second rail. And if he hits it soft, that might be a containing option. Of course, then you're going to leave Al-Kady with a close cue ball and 3-ball position. He hits it hard. He needs to hit the top side of the 3-ball from the second rail onwards. hard. Oh, missed the whole ball. Hoo. This match far from over. It's Al-Kady with a chance to win. Is it Ko's break and then no, it's Al-Kady's break. Ko to break next, so it's still all in Copenyi's hands, even if he loses this game and makes for a 10-9 scoreline. These positions are all pretty much guaranteed. It's just about how good you can get on the next ball, not if. Of course, wants to come from the 7 to the 8 and bring his cue ball as close as possible to the 8 in a straight position to make that screw back easier from the 8 to the 9. What a match we're witnessing here. I mean, is it one illegal break, one missed kick shot by Ko. The illegal break was by Al-Kady. One missed jump combination by Ko. Missed 3-ball just now by Al-Kady. Is that all the errors we've been witnessing in a race to 11 where we've played 18 games and our interact 19. Woo. Oh, what if he would have corner hooked himself? I mean, I've seen it happen, and so was he. That's why he had his heart temporarily in his mouth. So this 9-ball for a 9-10 scoreline with Copenyi to break for a place in the semi-finals of the Mezz Bucharest Open 9-ball Championships 2023. Orange ball bottom right, 1 ball left side. I almost bet on it. Corner ball, 1 ball. Will dress up. Ooh. Fairly easy 2-ball. 2 leads you to the 3. 3 leads you to the 4. That's pretty nice, isn't it? With the 2, 3, 4 on one side of the table and the 6, 7, 8. Basically one side of the table. So once the thread is cue ball off the 1 ball, 2 rails probably back to where it is now. So about a 4 or 5 o'clock tip position. That, of course, makes you have to adjust your aim on the 1 ball, even if you're playing with a lower non-deflection shaft. The cue ball still wants to bend a little bit to the left with that bottom right spin. Beautiful. So stop shot or an ever so slight screw back. So position from the 4 to the 6. Maybe the most delicate here, and that of course makes it important for him to get from the 3 to that position on the 4 ball to make it as easy as possible to get to the 6. Straight in on the 4 will do, or kind of any angle will give him an opportunity in this case. So straight in it is. Basically draw your cue ball past the center line of the table, in between the side pockets. Now will he play the 7 ball on the side? I think I would. Yeah, both players really experienced in closing out matches, in the closing stages. If you get a chance to not give that away and even, run it out comfortably. So experienced in these situations, both players. What a match. Perfect match? No, it wasn't. There's no such thing as a perfect match. Everybody plays somewhat of a positional error at some point. But you've been watching one of the Billiard Network's top 9-ball offerings, and I'm glad you watched this with me. Have a look at the rest of our library. Copenyi into the semi-finals, defeats David Alcaide 11 racks to 9 in the Mezz Bucharest Open 9-ball championships. My name's Rico, and I'll see you around.